Welcome back to PR After Hours. I'm your host, Alex Greenwood, bringing you your weekly cocktail of PR and marketing tips that will help you and your business. We'll continue our interview right after this message. Hello, listeners. It's me, Alex, from PR After Hours. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. And I wanted to talk to you just for a moment about the way I get this show right into your earbuds every week. It's because I use Anchor FM. Now, I've told you previously that I've been podcasting since 2006, back when we used stone knives and bear skins and a couple of Dixie cups and string. Anchor FM has really streamlined this and made it simpler for people who don't know the first thing about setting up a podcast or don't have, time to learn all the pro tools and stuff, because it's all right here. First thing it's important to know is it's free. There are certain tools that will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. That's huge. Distribution is a big pain in the butt, to be honest with you, so it's really great Anchor FM can do that for you, and you're not paying hosting fees. That adds up every month. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place, so download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started, and be sure to join me in the virtual cocktail lounge on PR After Hours. When you think about the modern customer journey, there's a lot of different moving pieces, and I think that everybody has a different take on it. Here I am, a public relations guy. I probably have a different customer journey outlook and thought plan to a marketer. And that's why I'm very excited to have somebody here who is frankly too busy to even be on this show. He's one of those people, you read what they're doing online and you just get tired reading it, because it's like, does this guy ever sleep? What is he doing? Oh my gosh, listen. We're excited and lucky to have Ryan Mason with us today. He is the founder and CEO behind Luxe Brand, America's leading luxury shoelace provider, and Biz Buzz, which provides integrated marketing automation software and services for more than 250 small and medium-sized businesses. I may have to hire this guy. And beyond that, though, his price had probably just gone up because Yahoo Finance just named him one of the top 12 entrepreneurs to watch for 2020. He's up there with some pretty big company, too. So we're very excited to have him here in the virtual lounge. Ryan Mason, welcome to PR After Hours.
Alex, oh my goodness, it's a pleasure. Hey, that was a wonderful introduction. I mean, can I clip that and use that in other places? But oh my goodness, thank you so much. Excited to be here.
You can use it anytime you want, Ryan. I'm very excited to have you here. I got to ask you, and I know you get this a lot, but I think it's important because I've read a little bit about your story. Is there any way you could just kind of encapsulate your journey to where you are now, and then we can get into the modern customer journey?
Sure. So, basically for me, my background goes back to, my college days. So for me, I come from a very well-rounded, athletically inclined family. Most of my family played football. My father, he actually played professional football for the Green Bay Packers, and I had a younger brother who's followed in my, he was always on my coattail. So for me, my story kind of goes a little like this. So I ended up, my biggest dream was to literally go on and follow in my father's footsteps. I wanted to go on and go to the next level and play professional football, but that didn't actually happen. Of course, growing up, we always think that our life is going to go a certain way, but life is not linear, guys. So for me, I was the guy who was literally just performing. My dad always told me, all you have to do is perform, the rest will happen later. And I did just that. So for me, I would go to these really big camps like Alabama and Auburn and Tennessee and all these different places. And it's so funny because now, a time in my life where I was just like, oh my God, this is the dream, where I would basically look at a guy and I would look him up and down and I would literally run circles around him. But when I stood right next to him, he would be 6'5" and here I am 5'11". So that was a big difference, right? So yeah. I tell that story jokingly now, but it was a really crucial part of my life because that led me to following in the entrepreneur journey. But basically, to make a long story short, I went on to college. I ended up receiving only one offer after literally breaking records for the state, and that was the University of North Alabama. And this was, in my head at the time, the worst thing that can possibly happen because I thought I was going to go to one of the big schools, right? But it happened to be one of the best things that happened for me, and I'll tell you why. But basically, after that, about 2 or 3 years in, I started to realize that, hey, this isn't really working the way that I thought it would be. I was on scholarship, fortunately, but I also had felt like it was a burden to me. I felt like all the energy that I had, all of the focus, that I could use that focus in something else in life. Didn't quite know what it was. Didn't realize it was going to be a business or a couple of businesses later on. But at the time, I felt deep down in my heart that God was really pushing me somewhere else. And, I was able to accept that after months and months and months of, feeling like, oh, I'm going to be a failure, or, oh, people are going to think I flunked out of school if I get rid of this scholarship. But basically that kind of really led me into finding a way to convince my peers and my family that leaving a scholarship was something that is okay to do, and we can actually achieve things, from something that is kind of out of the norm. So basically from there, I decided to leave a scholarship after a long conversations. And basically that is when the entrepreneurial journey began for me.
Is that all? Ryan, I get that. It's not on the same level, but it's like you said, we all have this vision when we're younger about, oh, this is how my life's going to be. And then of course you got your dad, I mean, that's just, he's achieved on that level and you want that so much. And, exactly. But I think you're right. The trick is to not, you can be disappointed for a little while, I think, but the trick is to use that energy to propel you forward. And it's obvious that's what you've done. So again, thanks for being here on the show. I wanted to ask you now, let's talk, you're a digital marketer. You obviously started your own company or two. Tell us a little bit about what you perceive to be the modern customer journey. Where's it going right now?
Absolutely. So right now, basically since COVID, things have literally changed overnight. And it is a very real situation that we may wake up tomorrow and it's changed again, right? So welcome to 2020, guys. But hey, the modern customer journey has changed, and basically for local businesses and small businesses alike, thanks to how quickly people can really discover information. Your customers know way more about your business before they even consider stepping foot in the door, right? So they all have that right in front of them at every second of the day, which is their cell phones. So that is how it's changed. In a lot of cases, you think about, the way things used to be. You used to have, things like billboards and TV and all these kind of things like, yellow pages, these kind of phone books and stuff like that. Those things have not gone away completely, but now they're just being supplemented by digital stimulus. You got things like text, loyalty programs, email marketing programs. You have ads, social media ads, Google ads, and there's a ton of different things that are relevant now that has basically, allowed us to get more and more access to everything we need right in front of us.
Yeah. So we're all kind of tied in here. Like you said, most of us, not all, but most of us, I think to a larger degree, at least more homebound than ever. So yeah, our vital link is the cell phone. Do you think that along this customer journey then though, are there a lot of dead ends for business people who are trying to attract customers? Do you think people are just kind of surfing brands just because they're bored and have really no intention to buy? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, in some cases, I think that that does happen. I think it's very easy for us to go down a rabbit hole, right? Yeah. And we got to think about this. We got to really put ourselves in the customer's shoes. How often do we actually begin to get on social media for one simple reason, looking for something, and then next thing you know, we go off on a tangent, and 2 hours later, we finally get the idea, hey, I was looking for something. So I think that is very relevant. Yes, people do that, and it does happen often.
Yeah. I find myself doing that more and more. To me, I think it's the modern version of what room did I leave my keys in? I don't know if you do that, but
Yeah.
that's the story of my life. I think I do spend about a quarter of every waking day looking for my keys, even though I'm not going anywhere because of COVID. It's crazy.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, you and me both.
It's good to
It's
know
only,
that.
it's between 1 and 10 places.
Ryan, well, you want to break it down a little for us? What advice would you be giving folks listening in and basically folks who listen to this show, they're PR people, they're marketing people, and they're
Right.
small business owners. So what
Right.
advice would you give them to get through on COVID?
Right. So some of the things that I would literally like to expound upon is that journey, right? So
Mhm.
there's basically 5 areas in that journey. Okay. We have awareness, we have listings, we have reputation, conversion, and also advocacy. Okay.
Right.
So basically the first 4 stages are pre-purchase, and the last stage is what happens after they've purchased, right? Or after they've decided to convert. Okay. Now, if we think about this, what this usually looks like is the first thing that normally happens is a customer will actually spark they'll have some type of interest, or they'll have some type of, interest in what you're doing, your service. Maybe they've heard it from, a friend or a family member, or maybe they've seen some type of ad somewhere. Usually that's the first stage, right? And in the past, what would usually happen is immediately after that, they would literally head right over to the business without doing research and then decide to buy or not, right? Well,
Right.
there's a couple of things that happen is different now that you really have to be aware of, right? So the next thing is what usually happens is a customer is going to pull out their phone, or if they're by desktop, and they're going to search for that business.
True.
And that's where listings is important. You want to make sure that your business is actually listed and findable, because basically we got to give I tell people all the time, your physical landscape or your digital landscape is just as important as your physical landscape. All right.
Right.
It's very relevant in 2020. Okay. So some of the things, you have GPS, you have Google, obviously, and the other search engine providers, but those aren't the only places. Now you have Amazon Alexa and other voice search. You have apps. You have tons of other places where your business information can be found. Okay.
Right.
So once that customer usually finds your information, what they do next is they do their research. So
Yeah.
in almost every single case, if you think about this, think about the last time that you have purchased from Amazon.
Yesterday.
Think right now, I think we've all purchased from Amazon at this point.
Right.
Shout out to Jeff Bezos. I just saw him literally cross the $200 billion mark about 2 days ago. But we've all used Amazon, and I can guarantee you what we're going to do when we get to Amazon is we're going to compare our choices. We're going to look at the reviews. We're going to look at the images. We're going to see what people are saying about the product. All right. So I want you to think about this, Alex. Word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
The way word of mouth used to work is you go into a room, I'm just going to give you a picture, but you go into a room, and then you can possibly, if there's 100 people in that room, you could possibly get to a certain amount of people in that room, right?
Right.
And basically tell them about your service. Maybe they can experience it. They can let you know if they love it or they dislike it. Okay. And word will travel from there. Well, the difference now is that when you have word of mouth or reviews online, anyone can access that information.
Truth.
Anyone can access that. And anyone can make a decision based off of what some of the people who have bought from you is saying. Okay. So this is something we have to be aware of, right? So once they have done that research, the next thing is basically, usually in most cases, if you don't have, like I said before, your digital landscape is just as important as your physical landscape. Usually they're going to your website or a place where they can convert. Okay. So this is something we got to make sure that the website is fine-tuned. It's easily accessible, it's mobile friendly, and obviously it's functioning so that they can make a quick purchase, right from their phone or wherever they are. And it's so funny because I keep referencing Amazon because it's Amazon, right? Well, the thing is, Amazon literally, I can go and find a product and I can click one button and literally I get the confirmation. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I just spent $80.
Yeah. By the way, and I mean, folks, people listen to the show know I'm not immune to a cocktail every now and then. Put the phone away. Do not get on Amazon when you're cocktailing. Don't do it. Because you're gonna, that box will show up in a day or two if you're a Prime member, and then you get the stink eye from your wife. Your wife's like, "What is that? Why do you have leopard print boxers?" I don't know.
Hey, I think that's the best advice we got all day. That is great. That is true. Stay away from it.
Well, let me. Can I stop you there? I want to ask you as a business owner. Can we go to Luxe for the shoelaces? Or that's sure. A going concern. Now, are they available through Amazon?
Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, how do you feel about that as a business owner? Do you get the same margins if they buy it through Amazon as if they bought it directly from you or other retailers?
Right. So they take a slight bit of margin, but you just get access to, oh my goodness. I mean,
everybody.
Think about this. Think about starting a e-commerce business and putting up a website. As we know, it takes time to build traffic to that site. All right. And in most cases, early on, you got to pay for a lot of that traffic to come, right? Whether that's SEO or ads or something like that, or PR. You got to pay for that stuff, right?
Right.
Well, if you think about this, if you can go put your product on Amazon and get a couple of sales in a very quick period of time, like there is a chance that Amazon will they'll boost your product. And if you do so well in a short period of time, they will promote it for you.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, because you become for them kind of
that's how they make their money.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, wait, this is what people want. Well, then let's bump it up to the top. That's right.
Exactly.
Well, it's the same thing, right? Because I write books, and when when your reviews are good, and then you get sales. It's funny. It's like you succeed when you succeed. It's like, but how do you succeed? Well, you just gotta hope you can succeed. And there's like, you just said succeed 3 times. I'm like, I know that means I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's when it comes to Amazon's algorithm, I don't. But I think you come the closest to explaining it. It's just if you're starting to break through with people, they're gonna help you.
Right,
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to take you off the track because I know you're talking. There's 4 or 5 things here we're talking about, but I just wanted to go off for a second and ask you as a business owner what you thought about.
Yeah, sure. So the last thing that we talked about was the point of conversion. Where basically you're exchanging value. Okay. So once that customer has become your customer, we get into that last stage, which is the stage of advocacy. Okay. Mm-hmm. And in that stage, there's a couple of key things that you want to happen, right? You want a happy customer, but you also want that customer to tell others about you. You want them to share the experience. And you have to be very, very, how do I say this? You have to be, instead of reactive, you have to be proactive and asking them to do so at the right timing, right?
Right.
So, and that helps you get more clients. And that's usually the easiest way to build your business and get more clients is through referrals, so basically that's the modern customer journey. And, those are things that you have to really think about doing at every single stage. And it's important that you literally win at all those stages.
Right. You can't excuse me, on any of those. You've got to do them all equally well. Let me ask you about, I think it was number 2 about your location. One thing I did early on, and I've been in this company, my PR business, not the podcast, but my PR business has been in since January of 2010. And one of the things I did, I'm pretty well an early adopter of a lot of things. Doesn't mean obviously that I get rich. I'm an early adopter, but I'm also an early quitter. That's my problem. I don't. Dude, I had a podcast in 2006, and if I'd kept it going by now, I wouldn't be Joe Rogan, but I'd probably be making a nice living off of it. But after about 4 years, I was like, I'm kind of tired of this. I'm going to quit. It's just, my timing has always been bad, Anyway, we're not here to talk about me, though. So one of the things I did do, though, Ryan, I saw Google, and the Google business listings. Remember when those first popped up? And like, punch your business in here. And I just did it, right? And I've had friends for years go, what's that? I'm like, but doing that, and that's back when I had office space and staff and all that stuff. So you tie it to your location, right?
Right. Correct.
And it also, but I had an SEO guy look at me and he goes, you write a good blog and you're constantly doing that, and that helps. But he says, this Google business thing has probably saved your bacon more times than you'll ever know.
Yeah,
to get
that is so
found,
true.
right? So let
Yeah.
me ask, so I want to ask you, maybe you don't know, but so we went from brick and mortar,
Okay.
um, after about, we started virtual, went brick and mortar for 3 or 4 years, and then went back to virtual. And I no longer have a actual physical location because I work from home and I do not want my house, posted up online
Yeah,
and
yeah,
say, I don't want people knocking on my door. Not, yeah, because people are dying to knock on my door and say, can I have some PR? But you
yeah, of
still.
course.
So I want
Right.
to ask you, do you know this? And maybe it's a silly question, but it seems like though, if you are working virtually, does that limit the strength of a Google business listing? Because every time I go back and look at it, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't see much help for people who
Mhm.
don't have brick and mortar.
Yeah, so good question, by the way.
Thank
And
you.
yes, it does limit the strength a little bit, right? So Google My Business is more so for local businesses who are covering, a local community, right? So
Right.
there's two options. You can obviously you can list that business, but you also can conceal that address and mark yourself as a service-based business.
Oh,
Therefore you can actually cover, let's just say 30 miles around where you're located. Maybe that's the only place you service, or maybe, 60 miles. You can actually mark that so that people within that parameter will likely see your information.
okay. So put in your home address, but then that's so that Google has a frame of reference, but then you hide it from.
You can mark it as a service-based business.
This is yet another reason why Ryan Mason is one of the top 12 entrepreneurs to watch, according to Yahoo Finance. I don't know if you caught that, folks. Ryan. All right. Well, look at me. I've eaten up so much of our time, and I didn't want to keep you because I know how busy you are. But if you don't mind,
Mhm.
before we go, do you have some secret sauce? I mean, I notice you're a speaker. I assume you're like me. I'm a speaker too, but I don't
Right.
go speaking much lately. But is there some secret sauce? There's something I always give away, something that frankly is valuable beyond my opinions, but something that's really useful. You already kind of did with the Google My Business, but there's got to be something bigger. Any secret sauce you want to offer our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two things, right?
Ooh,
Okay.
ooh, for the
Yeah,
price of
we
one.
got two goodies. Okay. So we talk about the customer journey. Okay. So
Mhm.
what BizBuzz has done, especially since the pandemic has happened and COVID-19, we have basically worked really, really hard to provide a completely free suite of tools and marketing software to help you be successful at every single stage of that journey. Okay. So what this looks like is, when building your business and trying to market it, there's about 80 different things that you could possibly do within that customer journey to get new customers, right? And also
Right,
service those customers who have already purchased for you, right? But
right.
what we've done is we've compiled most of that into one single platform, okay?
Oh,
And basically what this looks like is, let's say awareness, right? Let's say if you're
mhm.
running ads, well, basically we have ad calculators. You can plug in all your ads so that basically you can see where the best spend is and make educated decisions on to what to do next. On the listing side, basically you have literally all of your listings for your industry in one place, and you can correct those at scale, right? So you don't
Whoa.
have to, yeah, so you don't have to go to Google, then go to Yelp, then go to Apple Maps, and then go to, Yahoo. You can all do that from one platform. Even the reputation piece, right? So
Yeah,
you can manage your competitors
right.
and what's happening with their business, but also your own reputation and what reviews you have. So whether it's Facebook reviews, Yelp reviews, Google reviews, Better Business Bureau reviews, all of that comes into this one platform. You can actually manage those reviews. You can actually, you know, respond and share those reviews on social. So there's also a social media marketing tool where you can schedule all your posts out as well, and literally set it and forget it. And then
Dang.
also one of the biggest things that we have is the one-click website. So literally, if you're looking to build your website, the way this works is it literally connects to Facebook. So if you have your Facebook business profile, it'll literally pull all of that information into one website for you. So you don't have to build a website anymore.
Where were you 10 years ago, man? I'm serious.
I know, right? Hey,
You were in college.
I should have been born a little earlier, right? But and then the last piece is the advocacy, where we actually have, email marketing solutions as well as CRM systems to where you can actually very easily manage the customer relationship. So all of this is in our platform at, you can actually go to ryandmason.com, and it'll give you a couple of options. If you hit get started for free, it'll take you over to the BizBuzz website, and then you can just fill out that form. All right. And once you fill out that form, you have access and you can go in and get started and go from there. The second thing is a book. So I really believe, hey, you're a book writer. I know it. So I believe in people, process, and platform. Okay. The right people generate leads. They build processes, but ultimately they use these processes and they use systems or the platform to do it at scale. Okay. Right. So the right people follow process and they use platform to do it at scale. Okay. So with that being said, I didn't want to just only create software. I also wanted to do services as well and formulate the process. So some of the things that I've been able to do is basically not only with my business and Good Morning America and NFL Network and stuff like that, but I've also had a lot of success with my clients. And basically I've brain dumped everything that I've done all into this book. So it's like a workbook, and it's called the Digital Playbook: Secrets to Building Repeatable Revenue. All right. So basically in this workbook or in this book, it's going to go into the 6 phases that it takes to build a business. All right. It's going to go through digital marketing. It's going to go into the first phase 1 is going to be analytics. So basically it's going to teach you how to create your Google Analytics, your Google My Business, all of this analytics, because when you start to grow, you need to understand where you need to cut bait and where you don't need to cut bait, right? Or where you need to amplify. So it's going to go into that. Then it's going to go into the goals, your content strategy, why, how, and what, how to connect with the audience, how to build content. And then also it's going to go into targeting. So we're going to teach you how to narrow down your audiences. Okay. And then from there, it's going to go into amplification, which is combining and packaging all of that together, the word of mouth, the positive reviews. And then it's going to teach you how to optimize all of that information. So it's about 80 pages, but all of that is in the book. And actually, if you go to ryandmason.com, you can scroll down about middle of the page and you can get early access. So it's going to be releasing in November, but go ahead and sign up for early access now.
Okay. See, folks, when I introduced this gentleman, I knew I was going to get some value out of it because he's one of the top 12, et cetera. But I mean, man, I didn't know we were going to get this. So this is now. Let me ask you something. So it's let's go back to the first thing, the suite, basically this whole suite of stuff you're offering businesses.
Right, BizBuzz.
Correct. BizBuzz. You can try it for free, and then when we fall in love with it, that's when you get us. So is there a monthly deal or is it an annual deal, or do you offer both things? Or
yeah, we offer both. That's
cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So It's affordable, I'm sure, to get you in the door and get you going. But I'm going to check this out. I like this. I love the idea of having everything in one place. I get so tired of having to go look for different apps and match things up. Absolutely. And I guess you can see that as well. And folks, we got to get the book. So I'm excited about all this. And we're going to have links to all of this stuff in the show notes.
Yes.
So just make sure you go to prafterhours.com, and there's this wonderful show notes. You're going to see a lovely picture of this gentleman. You're going to see more, and just go look there. And of course, you can go look for previous shows and stuff like that. Although it's going to be hard to beat this one. So Ryan, before we go, and before we both head off into what's left of 2020, which unfortunately there's a lot more to go.
Right.
Any other parting wisdom before we say goodnight?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me, and I live my life by this quote here. All right. And basically, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So surround yourselves by people who are doers and people who are going to help you and inspire you, and you turn around and you do the same thing for others.
I think that's beautiful and true. And I can tell you, I'm never in the wrong room. I'm just not.
Hey, that's a good place to be, right?
Ryan Mason, I have a feeling one day I can say I knew him when. I mean, you're already just going great guns, and it's just an honor to have you on the show. And folks behind the scenes, we had like a couple of missed opportunities. He had some issues, then I had some issues, and we finally got together. I'm glad we did, because sometimes these things fall through the cracks, and I am so blessed to have met you, and I think our listeners are really going to enjoy it. So Ryan, best of luck in all your future endeavors, and of course the door is always open here at the Virtual Lounge.
Thank you, sir. Excited.
Oh, you know what that means? Looks like it's last call here at your Virtual Lounge for PR news, views, and interviews. Don't forget, you can ask me a question anytime. You can do it through our Twitter account, which is @HoursPR, or even better, you can send me a message vocally. I would love to hear your voice, and I'll answer it on the show. There's a link in the show notes. All you have to do is sign up through Anchor FM. It's free, doesn't take long, and you record your message. I get the message. I will play your audio. Just give me your first name and the city you live in, and then I will answer the question to the best of my ability right here on the show. Don't forget to, if you're enjoying this podcast, you can support it and help increase the frequency and value of the show. Just consider being a sponsor for your brand or your agency, or just yourself because you're like, I like this show. Or just drop a few coins in the virtual tip jar. Either way, there's links in the show notes. Please check that out. All of that, of course, being in the show notes where you're listening right now, or at prafterhours.com. I see that they're turning up the lights. Last call is over, and I've got to clean up this virtual lounge. And until next time, I'm Alex Greenwood, and you've been listening to PR After Hours on Anchor FM.